in front of me. All right, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Brandon Manson, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about the American Diabetes Association. I'll start by giving you a little bit of their history and then some of the services that they offer, and then I'll go into how people contribute to them and how they raise money. Before I get into that, though, most people don't know that before insulin came around, diabetes was a fatal diagnosis. They treated it with things like the starvation method, which was basically a low-calorie diet. People would lose drastic amounts of weight and eventually just went around and die. After insulin, the treatment for diabetes was a lot better, but people could still be discriminated against, like fired and not hired for being insulin dependent or having diabetes in general, because a lot of companies viewed it as a disability or a liability to the company. So let me get into their history a little bit. For starters, I'll start out by saying that I'm diabetic, so I understand a little bit of the accommodations that a diabetic would need in work and how they could be discriminated against in the workplace and different places like that. They started out in 1940, about 20 years after insulin was invented. And when they first opened, they were only open to doctors, healthcare providers, and research scientists. That was for about the first 30 years. And then in 1970, they opened up for the general public. They were founded by 28 other physicians. The president was Dr. Cecil Stryker. Just to give you an idea of how they've evolved over time, in 1960, they started advocating for equal employment and insurance coverage for people with diabetes. And 1993, they developed a phone line called the Center for Information and Community Support, and that's just a phone line you can call. It's 1-800-DIABETES. You can call for information on diabetes or to report discrimination for diabetes, and they'll kind of back you up and advocate for you on that. And then in 2012, alone in 2012, they raised $229,000 for the community support and research of diabetes. They offer many services to the public and to diabetics and their families, one being they advocate for employment rights. A good example of that is two gentlemen named John Stragoff and Mike Klaas were fired from a delivery company for being insulin dependent. And they reported it to the ADA and they advocated for them, and because of that, they were able to keep their job. Lots of companies still won't hire people that are insulin dependent. Mostly it's major employees like airlines and stuff like that, because it's a liability. Insulin can drop your blood sugar sometimes, so that can't happen while you're flying a plane, obviously. Another service that they do is they fund research for the cure for diabetes eventually, hopefully. And one example of a research project they funded was they funded a research project that proved that prediabetes and type 2 diabetes was the second contributing factor to developing Alzheimer's disease. And through that research, they developed an exercise plan that would lower insulin dependence, and that proved to increase brain function, so to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Another service that they offer is information. They distribute like health information and like carb counting information and healthy foods and stuff like that, and stuff so that people that are diabetic know how to read nutrition labels and know what they can and can't eat. Now we'll get into how they raise money and how people can contribute to them. So all of the services that they offer are funded through contributions, and that's done by members or the general public, and there's many ways you can contribute. One way is, of course, money. You can donate on their website, which is www.diabetes.org, or you can mail them a check. They also take stocks and bonds if people want to transfer them over to the American Diabetes Association. They take property, vehicles, old vehicles, collectibles, just anything worth money that they can sell and put back into their organization. Another way that you can contribute is to volunteer. They do many community services like summer camps for kids with diabetes, and they do fundraisers and stuff, and you can volunteer to work at the summer camp, or you can volunteer to take part in the fundraisers as well. Because they're a nonprofit organization, all of the money that they raise has to go back into the organization in some way. They can't make any profit on it at all or keep it in the bank. So it all goes to funding research or to their summer camps, which provide services for kids with diabetes. So in conclusion, the American Diabetes Association has been around for some time now. They offer many services that help diabetes and diabetics and their families. to live healthier lives, and all of that is only possible through member contribution and public contribution. Diabetes has led research and fought for laws that improve the life of diabetics, and they're a huge reason that diabetes doesn't have the stigma of an illness on it today. Any questions? All right, thank you for being here. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.